Back on Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Head to youtube.com, put Locked On Sports Atlanta into your search browser. When you find us, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment there. Free and available, all of your favorite podcast platforms. You can download us, including on Spotify, Odyssey, whatever your favorites are. Leave us a 5-star review, and then follow me on my personal Twitter page. That would be at JMCH316. Well, we had a Marcell Ozuna sighting yesterday in the game, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. And look, he spoke to, a friend of mine, Allison Mastrangelo from WSB after the game, and thought it was some interesting comments and this, that, and the other, as he got resoundingly booed yesterday in the game. He was booed when he struck out. He was booed when he came up to bat. He was just booed all the way around, and he deserves it. The Braves, look, I was surprised that he played yesterday, but here's the thing. Because I'm getting a lot of folks that are asking me on Twitter and other places, my text line at my radio show and this and the other. Well, what do you do with Marcell Ozuna? I don't think there's an easy thing to do with him. So look at what, for instance, the Chicago Cubs, their general manager announced a week or so ago that the Cubs were going to keep Jason Hayward on the roster for the rest of this year because he's such a good clubhouse guy. But they're going to DFA him in the offseason, and they're going to pay him $23 million to walk away. He has one more year on his big contract that he signed, whatever it was, a $170, $180 million deal that he signed with the Cubs. And they have 1 year and $23 million, and they're going to just let him walk away. They're going to pay the $23 million, and he's going to go away, right? You don't see that very often in sports when you're on the hook for that kind of money. The Braves are on the hook. They have 2 years at $16 million per year, $32 million that is still owed to Marcell Ozuna. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, if he got in trouble or the legal and the – okay, when has that ever happened? Tell me when you've seen that a DUI or whatever like that got a team out of paying a guaranteed contract. When? Give me all those examples about how that worked out, where they voided it, this and the other, right? I wish it were that easy just to say that they can just void the contract and we just move on and we don't have anything. It's not how it works. They've got 2 at $32 million total to pay him. Do they want to DFA him? Because people are asking me, well, they should just cut bait and let him go. Okay, that's $32 million. And while I understand that Liberty Media is going out there and they're spending more money in this, that, and the other, Liberty Media also isn't in the business of just dump a guy and pay him a whole bunch of money to not be around. You want to reverse that trend of all of the goodwill that Alex Anthopoulos is building up and signing guys and building a core. Let a guy make $32 million to not play and just walk away. You'll take some of that cachet off of it. That's an expensive mistake to have to make. Then some people ask me about, well, just trade him. Trade him? Who wants he's Marcell Ozuna right now is trying to see how old he is real quick here. He's a 31-year-old player, okay? He'll be 32 come November, okay? He's a guy that doesn't produce, can't play in the field or anything like that. He's a one-trick pony. By the way, with his 2 strikeouts yesterday, he's hitting a $170 in the month of August. He's driven in 46 runs, hitting about 205. So he's not a good baseball player. And then on top of all of that, he's now a multi-time loser off the field. He's now got multiples of off-field incidents that don't exactly put him in the best light. So let's see, other than the fact that he's not a good guy off the field, and he doesn't hit or produce or anything like that. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how are you enjoying the play? So who wants Marcell Ozuna for $16 million a year? If you're going to trade him, the Braves will probably have to eat all the money for that. So it sounds easy to say, trade him, DFA him and all that kind of stuff. But it's not that easy when you're on the hook for it, right? It's easy to spend somebody else's money. It's easy to move your trash to get something back in return. That's why I always laugh about when people want to trade trash. Well, we'll trade Marcell Ozuna and we'll get Mike Trout. People want to trade their trash for somebody else's gold. Well, GMs don't stay around very long with professional sports teams if they give away their trash or they try to, pawn their trash off, for things or take somebody else's trash and trade away your assets for it. That's how you get fired in professional sports is, you start making bad deals and put your team and your, team in a bad position, whether it's off the field or on the field, So Ozuna's, let's face it, he ain't exactly the best of guys, right? He ain't exactly the best decision maker off the field. So if you're a team, why are you picking up Marcell Ozuna? If anything, I'm going to sit back and wait for him to see if the Braves DFA him. And the Braves have said we're going to let the legal process play out and all this, that, and the other. And I get all that, and I understand all that. I mean, again, it all sounds easy and good. And do I have a solution? No. What do I think is going to happen? Personally, I think what's going to happen is the Braves are going to release him and they're going to eat a whole bunch of money. They're going to get stuck eating a whole bunch of money. And it may not be what you want, invested in all this and the other, but I think that's what's going to happen. Because, look, it surprised me that he was in the lineup yesterday. And at this point, the only reason to put him in the lineup is because you have so many guys hurt. And that was kind of Snitker's rationale yesterday. Well, Rosario's hurt, and this guy, we don't have this and that, and blah, 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 blah. Okay? So he felt like he really didn't have a choice. And he had to plop him out in left field. So outside of that, he's a complete non-factor right now. I wonder about whether or not he makes the playoff roster. It does make you wonder. But if you're paying a guy all this money, you feel like you want to get something out of him. And you can't use the excuse of, well, let's play him to increase his value. He's hitting $170 in the month of August. When you play him, he stinks. And he can't play in the outfield. He can't hit for average, can't draw a walk, can't drive in anybody, can't score a run, can't do much of anything. He gets a hold every so often. Somebody makes a mistake, and he gets a hold of one, and whoop, it goes up over the fence. But he doesn't do enough of that to offset everything else that he doesn't do. So, look, there is no real easy solution, and there's no easy way to solve what's going on with the Marcell Ozuna situation. So, again, I don't think he's tradable. I don't know that the Braves want to eat $32 million in salary, but maybe they can find somebody to take him off their hand if they pay all of the money. But if you're going to do that, and again, I don't know if you're getting anything back from Marcell Ozuna, maybe a bag of balls and, some beans and, maybe, a can of Spam or something like that to go along with it. It's not a good situation. And Marcell Ozuna has not put the Braves, who really bought into, we got to sign him and this, that, and the other. And this is what always scared me. I've talked about this for years, for the last couple of years on my radio show. Am I getting Marcell Ozuna like he was in 2020? Am I getting Marcell Ozuna like he was in his final year with Miami? Or am I getting the Marcell Ozuna that was in St. Louis, where they didn't do much of anything? He hit a bunch of home runs. One year I think it was 29 homers and 87 RBI. That guy hitting 30 homers, and he can't even drive in 90 runs. And hitting 240, striking out 140 times. It's a bad situation all the way around right now for the Atlanta Braves. Is there an easy solution? No. But I can tell you, whatever the solution is, Braves are going to have a whole lot of money on their hands that they're going to have to eat and live with. All right, well, thank you so much for making Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery your first listen every day. Make my friends over at ATL Day Ones your second listen every day. My friends Jarvis Davis and Nitra Batiste talking about all things in the heart of the city of Atlanta. All your takes, Braves, Hawks, Dogs, everything is there for you. Check them out, free and available on our YouTube page at Locked On Sports Atlanta. Also free and available on all of your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. When you get there, give us a 5-star review, and then follow me on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. Back with you tomorrow. We'll talk some Falcons as we'll take a look at what happened later on this evening against the Jets. Hitting hard with Jon Chuckery, Locked On Sports Atlanta.